Right now, live at 5, President Biden signed a new gun control bill into law. We'll find out why one Duluth woman was there. Plus, is Duluth still a seller's market? How rising interest rates are affecting a tight housing situation in the Twin Ports. And following the death of City Councilor Renee Van Nett, the council is talking to the finalists who want to fill that seat one last time as they get ready to make a decision tonight.
You're watching Live at 5 on Live Local CBS 3.
And welcome to the CBS 3 News Live at 5. Here is a live look from Canal Park, looking out to those clouds. Storms have been rolling through the region in here tonight, including in Duluth, but the sun seems to be returning. Good evening, and thanks very much for joining us. I'm Paul Brown, and we're going to turn to Dave right away to take a look at what's going on with this weather. And Dave, at the corner of my eye, looking out of the newsroom, I saw bolts of lightning there. Quite a show out there.
Quite a show. Random storms have been firing up all around the region, well, frankly, since yesterday. So far, at least today, they haven't ranked high enough to be considered severe. They've bubbled just under, a little bit more hit and miss, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
And let's go to the map then and take a look at who's hitting and who's missing. Well, we can see that towards International Falls, there's some sunshine peeking out, but there's a line of clouds rolling from probably Crane Lake towards Ely, then across the lake down towards Hayward. So the latest line of showers and storms is popping up in those necks of the woods, and there's a chance your neck will have them pop up again tonight, and a better chance they'll follow up tomorrow. So we're not done with it yet. The culprit, that's a low pressure system that's parked right over Lake Superior. Its cold front is cutting through the region right now, and that's what's creating the potential for the storms. 30% chance for redevelopment of storms here tonight, 50 to 60% chance that they'll follow through on Tuesday through perhaps late Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. Then, come Wednesday, will be followed up by high pressure and sunshine, so the storms won't last forever. Short-term forecast, though, says indeed there's a shot at them tonight with low temperatures in the upper 50s for most towns. Tomorrow we'll strive towards 75 for a lot of locations, which is just a little bit cooler than normal. Once we get towards Wednesday, it may be drastically cooler than normal, but a resurgence of temperatures could be coming for the weekend, and we'll talk more about that coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks very much, Dave. President Biden hosted an event at the White House today, just weeks after he signed a new gun control bill into law. The legislation was passed in the wake of shootings in Buffalo and Uvalde. But since that time, there have been other mass shootings. Skylar Henry reports from the White House.
Geraldine Talley, Pearl Young, and Mrs. Ruth E. Whitfield, our 86-year-old mother.
Victims of gun violence joined President Biden at the White House, hailing the passage of the nation's first major gun legislation in nearly 30 years.
As we have seen, no community is immune to the fallout. Rather, the fallout is landing in our backyard on a weekly basis.
Congress passed the bill last month in the wake of recent mass shootings in Buffalo and Uvalde.
This new law requires young people under 21 to go enhanced background checks before purchasing a gun.
The father of a 17-year-old killed in the high school shooting in Parkland, Florida in 2018, shouted at President Biden to do more. President Biden is calling for the return of the assault weapons ban of 1994 that he helped pass when he was a senator.
In that 10 years it was law, mass shootings went down. When the law expired in 2004 and those weapons were allowed to be sold again, mass shootings tripled.
Just last week, another mass shooter used a high-powered military-style assault weapon to kill 7 people at a July 4th parade in the Chicago suburb of Highland Park.
We believe strongly in the state of Illinois in protecting our citizens from these kinds of weapons, but if the states around us don't, then what are we to do?
The White House says it's also celebrating the 21 executive actions President Biden has signed to address gun violence, including a ruling on ghost guns, requiring homemade guns contain serial numbers so they can be traced. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
And a Duluth woman who knows the impact of gun violence all too well was there for President Biden's ceremonial bill signing today. Joan Peterson has been with the Northland Brady chapter, a nonprofit working to reduce gun violence for about 20 years now. She also lost her sister to a domestic shooting back in 1992. Peterson says today's event was an emotional yet celebratory one, since this is the first major gun safety bill to pass through Congress in decades. She hopes today's momentum will continue.
though the bill does a lot, and we're really happy with the provisions of the bill, we know it didn't go far enough, and there are other things to be done that could make us even safer.
Peterson pointed to an assault rifle ban and mandatory safe storage laws, both topics President Biden says he's hearing more and more calls for right now. Peterson also had a chance to speak with several U.S. senators today. She's grateful they were willing to lend an ear to people dealing with gun violence in their own communities. A judge has struck down many of Minnesota's abortion restrictions. That includes the state's mandatory 24-hour waiting period and a requirement that both parents be notified before a minor can get an abortion. The Ramsey County judge also struck down Minnesota's requirements that only physicians can perform abortions and that abortions after the first trimester must be performed in hospitals. This comes after a lawsuit from abortion rights groups which argued the restrictions were unconstitutional under a landmark 1995 Minnesota Supreme Court ruling. Opponents of abortion rights are calling on Democratic Attorney General Keith Ellison to appeal. A 23-year-old died in an off-road vehicle crash near Leech Lake over the weekend. Someone came across the crash around 10:30 Saturday morning. Authorities say sometime the night before, the off-road vehicle went into the ditch, hit a tree, and caught on fire. A 23-year-old man died at the scene. An autopsy has been scheduled. A Duluth woman was struck and killed while walking on a busy Duluth road. This happened around 11:15 last night on Glenwood Street near Old Howard Mill Road, not far from the entrance to Hawk Ridge. Authorities say a 16-year-old boy was driving on Glenwood when he thought he hit a deer. Police say he pulled over and learned he hit a woman. 39-year-old Jessica Jimenez died at the scene after investigating. Police say there's no reason to believe the driver was impaired or distracted. They're still looking into if speed played a role. The incident is still under investigation. Well, home buyers in the Northland and across the country are seeing a jump in interest rates on mortgage loans, which is affecting an already hot housing market. CBS 3's Mitchell Zimmerman tells us how realtors here in Duluth are working overtime to get houses sold.
Yeah, so Paul, around Lake Superior, we're in what is called a seller's market when demand outpaces supply. But buyers here in the Northland are seeing a jump in home loan interest rates. According to Lake Superior area realtors, a 30-year fixed loan rate is anywhere between 5.7 and 6.1% right now. For comparison, rates this time last year were closer to 3%. Tom Henderson, the treasurer of Lake Superior area realtors, says current interest rates are much lower compared to when he first bought a house. That was back in 1987, when interest rates were closer to 9%.
You see nothing yet. And 5%, 6% is nothing in our market. I mean, that's the normal percentage rate. We've been spoiled for too many years.
Henderson says it is still a busy seller's market. According to Lake Superior area realtors data, the average days a house spends on the market in our region is 26 days, down from 32 days last year. The average sale price is also up about $20,000, now at $288,000. The good news for buyers, though, the number of houses on the market this May was slightly higher than last year. Now, looking ahead, Henderson predicts an increase in interest rates over the coming year, but that seller's market we mentioned earlier probably won't go anywhere for a while.
All right, thanks very much, Mitchell. Coming up at 6, we'll hear from a home buyer here in Duluth who has struggled to get a successful offer on a home. Still to come on Live at 5, volunteers are needed for a region-wide bike ride next week. Details coming up in City by City.
Don't fall for clickbait, fall for Cluckbait with a doubly delicious chicken deal only at Hardee's.
Looking for a new garage? Maybe a home or cabin shell? Call Economy Garages to make your visions a reality. With over 40 years experience and over 9,000 buildings built for your friends and neighbors, you can trust us to get the job done right.
Call Economy Garages when you want it done right.
You really have to look where you go for your service for any camper that you have, because that can make or break your camping season. I drive from Hayward over here to Lynx. I don't mind the drive because I know I get a quality repair on whatever I need.
Attention Zantac users. The FDA requested manufacturers to pull Zantac off the market, noting exposure to unacceptable levels of a cancer-causing agent. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with cancer after regular use of Zantac, you might be entitled to financial compensation. If you have any of these cancers, time is critical. Call now for a free consultation. If you don't win, you pay nothing.
Call 800-894-1063.
If you spent time on base at Camp Lejeune prior to 1988 and developed any of these cancers or suffered any of these injuries, you may be eligible for significant financial compensation.
Leaking underground tanks contaminated the drinking water with benzene and other highly carcinogenic chemicals.
There have been numerous reported cases of exposed personnel developing cancer and other serious health conditions. Call Camp Lejeune victims to discuss your case now.
800-795-0821.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Don't fall for clickbait. Fall for Cluckbait. Buy one, get one for $1 when you order in the app. Only at Hardee's.
Welcome back to the CBS 3 News Live at 5. Here's a live look from Virginia, Minnesota. A rainy Monday across the Northland this afternoon, and Dave will be in with more on today's systems in just a few minutes. But first, let's take a look around the region. A new group aiming to help nonprofits in Ashland and Bayfield counties, and a local author is sharing her story this week in Hayward. All of that and more as we take you around the Northland city by city. We start off in Biwabic, Minnesota tonight, where the community is looking for volunteers for a region-wide event. Bike MS Ride Across Minnesota starts 1 week from today. The 5-day event sees participants bike from Proctor to Chisholm, Biwabic, and to Harbors before returning to Proctor. Biwabic leaders are asking for volunteers to help while riders are in town and on the road. Bike MS has rest stops every 10 to 12 miles with several volunteers at each one. We will have volunteer information on CBS3Duluth.com. Next, we head to Ashland and Bayfield counties, where the area clinic is launching a new support chapter. The group is called 100 Who Care, and this would be the 23rd chapter in Wisconsin. It is essentially a giving circle. 100 people pledge $400 annually and then host 4 meetings a year to determine what local nonprofits to donate to. Each member nominates a nonprofit falling under 3 categories, either arts, environment, and social services. North Lakes Community Clinic is launching this newest chapter. The first meeting will be July 18th at 5:30. And we wrap up in Hayward with a community event from a local author. We previously told you about Christine Ochu giving portions of her book sales to local resources. Now, this Wednesday, she is hosting a community event to share her own story from log rolling champion to international best-selling author. The event will be held at the Sherman and Ruth Weiss Library, one of the recipients of book proceeds. She'll share more on her motivation to write up an uplifting story, as well as how the community and other aspects of life influenced her. If there is something going on in your neighborhood that you think we should know about, send us an email, and it might be featured as we go around the Northland city by city. And still to come on Live at 5, a busy night ahead for Duluth City Council with interviews to fill an open seat and a vote on the future of Central High School on the Hill.
Early this morning, storms began brewing up near Ball Club, and by midday or so, got towards Hibbing. This picture comes courtesy of somebody named Kristen Bake. Sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? Good old Kristen Bakke, taking time from her new job to send us this picture of storm clouds over Hibbing. That line of storms now is in parts of Wisconsin, but another line could develop, at least tonight and perhaps through tomorrow. We'll talk about our storm chances coming up after the break.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
At MediaCom, we believe that whether you live here, or right here, or way out in the middle of anywhere, you should have access to fast, reliable internet. That's why we were one of the first to bring gig speeds to every customer we serve. Why we're blazing new paths to bring fast internet even further. And why we're leading the way in developing one of the nation's first 10G platforms. It doesn't matter where you are. With MediaCom, you're always moving forward.
Oh, somebody ordered DQ.
Fernando, he's here.
The drumstick with peanuts blizzard and new caramel drumstick with peanuts blizzard, both with drumstick pieces and world-famous soft serve. That's 2 DQ All-Stars. Wait, for 2 MLB All-Stars?
No way.
Ooh, play it cool, Mr. Delivery Man.
Thank you, Bobby.
That's so good. Play it cool, big hitter.
Have a good blizzard. Have a great season.
Big day for everybody.
DQ. Happy tastes good.
Like an orange? You do? Here. America needs drivers.
And we're here to help.
What are you learning from Girls on the Run?
Never give up and to always keep trying.
If I'm a parent in your state, I'm like, what's Congress doing? Beyond this gate is actually the border with Ukraine. We've seen people not just opening their hearts to Ukrainian refugees, but their homes. Where will you go? I'm here for you.
House hunting difficulties, why the seller's market is here to stay in the Northland.
More storms could be on the way, and I'll talk about how severe they could get.
Tonight at 6 on Live Local CBS 3.
Hi, everyone. I'm Natalie Grant. I am so excited to be waking up with you every weekday from 5 to 7 right here on CBS 3.
Wake up with Natalie and Peter on CBS 3. Now, the CBS 3 Duluth WeatherMax forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Well, let's start with some good news up north. That flood warning that's been in effect for 6+ weeks has finally dropped as of 4 o'clock. The flood warning is over, and let's hope it stays over, because International Falls did pull another 0.4 of an inch of rain today from our line of storms. And looking at those numbers, over an inch towards Hibbing, 1/4 inch roughly for the Twin Ports, and for Ashland, managed a 1/2 inch so far for Hayward, and just 0.05 towards Ironwood. But we're not done with the rain yet. There could be more tonight and more through tomorrow afternoon before sunshine takes over very firmly, I think, come Wednesday. Well, let's move now to the here and now, looking at the current conditions coming in from Duluth International Airport, where there's some partial sunshine and a current temperature of 67. The wind is northwesterly, 10 miles per hour. Relative humidity, 79%. It's up there, a bit muggy, thanks to the precip that fell earlier today here in the Twin Ports. Air pressure is low at 29.71 inches of mercury and will stay low through tomorrow night as this low pressure system continues to work its way through our area. Its center is up north, and it is spinning through our region with these on and off lines of showers and storms. So far today, none of them have been strong enough to be considered severe, and for many of us, they're taking a break right now. But do keep in mind the wraparound of our low could fire them back up again tonight, 30% chance for that, followed by a 50 to 60% chance for it to happen again tomorrow before higher pressure takes over more firmly come midweek. But for the short term here for Tuesday, those storms for a good part of Wisconsin and the head of the lakes in Minnesota could become severe. There's a marginal chance severe weather could break out tomorrow, and a very slight chance it could happen tonight. Otherwise, much of the Arrowhead in Minnesota and the Upper Peninsula tomorrow, just looking at general thunderstorms, which can be rough enough themselves at times. So if those storms pay off, how much more rain could come down on top of the totals we just looked at? Well, I think around our region, maybe around another 1/4 to almost a 1/2 of an inch for folks in Minnesota. Into Wisconsin, another 1/2 inch plus is possible for a lot of places. We'll go from a 1/4 inch in Superior to about 6/10 in Ashland. Into the UP, about a 1/4 to a 1/3 of an inch could fall before we get that break come midweek, as we mentioned. And so our low pressure system should leave, and higher pressure advancing from the west will clear us up for Wednesday and Thursday, maybe Friday as well. But our next rain chance could be with us already as early as perhaps next Saturday or so. But we'll take a look at our 7-day forecast to see if that's true. Tonight in Minnesota, 30% chance for storms with low temps running roughly 55 to 59 degrees. Into Wisconsin and Michigan, low temps there, a narrower band, 56 to 58, with a 30% storm chance as well. Winds westerly, northwesterly, about 5 to even 20 miles per hour. For tomorrow in Wisconsin and Michigan, partly sunny, much like today, some sunshine for a few hours, punctuated here and there by thunderstorms. High temps will run 74 to 77. The normal is around 77. There's still those gusty winds up towards 20 miles per hour tomorrow. And in Minnesota, low 70s by the lake. Inland temperatures should go 72 to 77 degrees. 50-50 shot at more showers and storms, which then go away come Wednesday as higher pressure settles back into the picture. It'll cool us down. We'll drop towards 70 for Wednesday, warm up to 76 on Thursday. There is a rain chance Friday into early Saturday morning, Paul, followed by a sunny and warm weekend. By Northland standards, you go 80 to 84 degrees. That's a little warm for some of us.
That is a little bit warm. I tell you, though, I'm seeing sunny, 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 sunny on 4 of those, so that could be like, you know, 4 of a kind right there.
Yeah, exactly. We've paid the piper with rain today and perhaps tomorrow so we can enjoy some sunshine without feeling guilty about it.
No guilt. All right, Dave, thank you very much. Well, Northland's canines will have a chance to show off their stuff next month. Operation Canine is back. The event, which gives the community a close-up look at law enforcement canines and how they work, will be happening August 11th. It's a free, family-friendly event at the University of Wisconsin-Superior football field. Duluth City Councilors are expected to choose their newest co-worker tonight. 3 candidates for the council's open seat are going through their second round of interviews right now. Ashley Castaldo works in digital marketing for the Center for Democratic and Environmental Rights. Hannah Alstead is an outreach director for U.S. Senator Tina Smith. And Hannah Smith is a fellow working in community economic development. We'll bring you the latest on this story on air and online as soon as we know more. The seat was left open, of course, after City Councilor Renee Van Nett died of cancer last month. Additionally, the Duluth City Council will weigh in on the development agreement for one valuable Duluth property tonight. The former Duluth Central High School on the Hill has been for sale for the last 10 years. The school district is still looking for a buyer, but they also are building their transportation building on the site. Tonight's vote at the City Council meeting essentially will hold the district to the city's building standards. The former high school is set to be demolished, but first they have to remove asbestos, which could take around 4 months. We will have more on their decision tonight at 10. Still to come, incredible video from Yosemite shows the challenges facing firefighters as a large wildfire rages in the park, how they are working to protect the historic trees. Next.
Coming soon, the Better Bus Blueprint will come to life. There's never been a better time to start a better career. From driving to maintenance and more. Visit DuluthTransit.com and see what all the bus is about.
Injured? Call Stockman Law Office. Automobile collision injuries involving taxis, Ubers, lifts, buses, semis, and motorcycles. Call anytime, 218-576-8599. No recovery, no fee. Stockman Law Office. Serious injuries, serious law.
Invasive species are organisms that are non-native to an ecosystem. They outcompete native species and reduce the quality of our resources. We can all prevent the spread by following the simple clean, drain, and dry steps. Clean all watercraft, trailers, and outdoor equipment. Drain all water from boat live wells, motors, ballast tanks, and bilges. And lastly, thoroughly dry all equipment and gear. Do your part to preserve our amazing outdoor heritage for future generations.
We've all been there. All of a sudden, your check engine light comes on. Insurance covers your vehicle from accidents, but did you know it doesn't cover expensive breakdowns? If your manufacturer's warranty is expired or is about to run out, you'll be on the hook for unexpected repairs. A broken AC unit costs over $1,800, transmission over $3,000, and an engine over $4,000. Breakdowns used to mean paying thousands out of pocket, until now.
As a mechanic, I always recommend my customers have an auto protection plan. You never know when a breakdown can strike, and you need coverage you can count on. Endurance has been putting money back in Americans' pockets for nearly 2 decades, and their plans are crafted by real auto experts like me. That's why they're the only company I trust.
No matter how many miles your car has, if it's under 20 years old, Endurance has you covered. That means insurance plus Endurance equals total protection. If you break down, just choose the local repair shop you trust. Endurance pays them directly. No complicated paperwork, no checks in the mail. Endurance takes care of all of it for you. Your plan even covers 24/7 roadside assistance. If you break down, Endurance jumps your battery, tows, delivers gas, changes a flat, unlocks your car, and more. Call now and we'll upgrade you to an Endurance Elite membership free with thousands of dollars of benefits at no extra cost. Endurance is the #1 trusted expert in vehicle protection, recommended by Consumer Affairs and highly rated by customers on major review sites. We offer affordable down payments, low monthly plans, flexible terms, and a money-back guarantee. At Endurance, we administer our own plans, meaning no middleman and no runaround.
So don't drive another second without auto protection from the experts at Endurance.
Call 800-518-6729 for a free price quote. That's 800-518-6729.
This week on 60 Minutes, that.
60 minutes.
60 minutes, 60 minutes.
Are you ready for some tough questions? Let me ask you this.
You know how this sounds.
What's your response to that?
60 Minutes Sundays on CBS.
Firefighters are facing extreme heat as they battle a growing wildfire in Yosemite National Park. Several states are experiencing record-breaking heat, including Texas, where the power grid operator is asking residents to conserve energy to avoid blackouts. Jonathan Vigiletti reports from Yosemite.
The Washburn fire in Yosemite National Park grew even larger Monday. It's already scorched more than 3.5 square miles in a southern corner of the park.
Obviously, it is in an area where it is getting into wilderness, so it is getting into steep country.
More than 500 firefighters are battling the fire, which is threatening the park's famous giant sequoia trees. Park Service employees are working to protect them.
I'm standing right in front of the grizzly giant, which is arguably one of the most famous trees on Earth, and we've got a sprinkler system set up around it. We really don't want to leave this one to chance because this really is such an iconic tree.
In Utah, record-breaking heat and high winds are fueling massive wildfires. That includes the Jacob City fire, whose flames spread to almost 6 square miles. In Texas, record-breaking temperatures prompted the state's power grid operator to ask residents and businesses to conserve energy, saying there's a potential for rolling blackouts.
We are working with all of our partners in the community, including churches and others, to look at different spaces and places for people to go and get into the AC.
And in Kansas, temperatures are hovering around the triple digits, taking a toll on local farmers.
When you know your crops are struggling, when you know they're suffering, it's really, really hard to stand out here and watch your crops burn up.
The forecast there doesn't call for much rain anytime soon. Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News, Yosemite National Park.
And the National Interagency Fire Center says this year so far has been well above average in terms of both the number of wildfires and the size of the damage. And we'll be right back after the break.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Essentia Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. When joint pain or injury becomes too much to bear, turn to Essentia Health's expert team to keep you moving forward.
A new Chevy is the smart way to hit the open road this summer. The smart way to road trip and seek new adventures. Go a little farther this summer in a new Chevy. Find new get up and go, find new roads. Enjoy the open road and make no monthly payments for the rest of summer on all 2022 Silverado 1500 pickups. Plus, get 2.49% financing when you finance with GM Financial. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Have you ever felt leg pain, restlessness, cramps, tingling, swelling, numbness, itchiness, or coldness? Then you need the new, clinically proven Legzercise Pro. The natural circulation booster that uses continuous automatic leg movement to soothe pain and promote healthy circulation the natural drug-free way.
After using Legzercise for a week, I felt like I wanted to go for a walk again without pain like I used to.
Legzercise Pro's patented walking simulator propulsion technology moves your feet back and forth along its concave track, creating constant movement and flex at both the knee and ankle joints. It's like having a physical therapist right in your own home.
It's helped with the swelling and the pain. The tingling feeling is gone.
Call right now and order your very own Legzercise Pro, the clinically proven automatic leg mover that soothes pain and naturally promotes healthy circulation. Call now.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy movies in the park. Watch movies come to life every Friday night on a giant outdoor screen at Leif Erikson Park. Here's what's playing this week. The Greater Downtown Council's Movies in the Park is presented by Arrowhead Orthodontics and these fine sponsors.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome back to the CBS 3 News Live at 5. And here's a live look from Canal Park on this Monday evening. Let's take a look back at today's top story and see what's coming up at 6. Tonight at 5, we learned more about how a jump in interest rates is impacting the housing market here in Duluth. Realtors say it's a seller's market and it's going to stay that way for quite some time. Tonight at 6, we hear from a first-time home buyer about their experience. And also tonight at 6, with the Wisconsin Supreme Court's recent decision to no longer allow ballot drop boxes, we hear from the Superior City Clerk on what this means for local elections and what voters need to know heading into the August primaries. So, Dave, how's the rest of the night looking after that Thunder and Lightning show?
Well, it could be filled with more thunder and lightning, so the show could do a replay for us.
Okay.
Feels like the old days of VHS tapes. Rewind it, be kind, and take shelter if needed, because there's a slight chance for severe weather. We take a look at the dew points. When you get the dew point to 60 or above, that indicates energy that can be converted into rapid lift, which fires up the friction that makes for lightning storms. Well, we see a lot of our towns going about 60 to 63 for the dew point. So that possibility is there. And of course, there's a parent low spinning through the area to aid and assist in that lift. And that gives us a recipe tonight for a 30% chance for more showers and storms like we're seeing fading away rapidly at the moment. But again, they could redevelop and go towards the tune of 50 to 60% tomorrow. So we're not out from under the gun yet. I think the gun will go away and we'll be out from under it by Wednesday when high pressure takes over.
All right, Dave, thanks. That's it for now. CBS Evening News is next. We'll see you at 6.